series of Let's Plays from Garbage Game. Hang on just a second here. Let me exit out of this and adjust our settings because that music is just a little bit loud. Crank that down a scooch. There we go. Yeah, that music is way too loud for this. Way too loud. Alright, so, as you guys can see, I've been meaning to do some videos to put up on the YouTube channel. As you guys know, I updated that I'm streaming live to Twitch pretty much every night. Sometimes I miss a night here or there, but mostly we're live over on Twitch every night, and you know, we're having a blasty blast just like the good old days. But I also don't want to leave the YouTube channel without content, and I was figuring, you know, what's something fun I could do, something a little different than what we did before with the Skyman stuff, and you know, I figured why not, you know, try something a little different, you know. As you guys know, you know, I'm a big fucking nerd, and, you know, I love D&D and, Pathfinder and things like that, and after Pathfinder Kingmaker came out, on the PC, I decided to pick it up and, check it out, and I figured, you know, why not, let's take a look at it together and kind of see, you know, what it's all about, how fun it is. I've already messed around a little bit in the tutorials and stuff, so we're gonna skip past a lot of this, and we're going to create a new character. And then here it's gonna ask us to pick a portrait. Hadn't really decided what kind of character I wanted to play before we got into this, which is something I probably should have done. I'm thinking we'll probably be a magus of some sort, which is a pretty interesting class. It's Pathfinder's answer to the old fighter mage from the Advanced Dungeons and Dragons days. So it should be pretty fun. We just need to figure out what race we want to be and pick a portrait for that. No. Want that. No. Thinking we may go with like Asimir, which are like the celestial, like angel or demon touched people. It can depend on your bloodline that you pick. Let's see. Scroll through these. Find a decent picture somewhere. These are elves. Do I have a decent, like, human-ish looking portrait in here somewhere? It's kind of emo looking, but we can go with that. We may be able to pick some sort of a, like a demonish background for our Asimir. So yeah, let's go with that. And we'll make him look as much like the portrait as we can. Can I lighten the skin tone up a little bit? There we go. Yeah, and I think we're going to go with Magus for this playthrough. There's a bunch of different classes. There's all of the old, you know, classes that you might know from D&D, like Wizard and Sorcerer and Rogue and Ranger and Paladin and all that stuff. And in Pathfinder, they kind of have their own flavor and their own mechanics and stuff, you know. And a lot of stuff you can do, but we're going to go with the Magus. And then once you pick Magus, or once you pick your standard class, you can either be the standard version of that class, which has its own advancement trees and stuff, as you can see, a lot of good stuff here. And the interesting thing about the Magus is that they gain spell combat, which is sort of like two-weapon fighting, which a lot of classes have, or some classes can take as feats, which let them fight with a weapon in either hand. But in the Magus's case, it lets him have a sword in one hand and have a spell equipped in his offhand. And that can either be a ranged spell, or more commonly it's generally a touch spell, because they can take a spell like electrified touch, and they can channel it into their sword for extra damage when they do a melee strike, which is kind of what the Magus is all about. So, and then there's different flavors of Magus. There's even the Eldritch Archer, which uses a bow instead of a sword. And you've got the Scion, which is the sorcerer version of the Magus. They gain, rather than memorizing spells, they have a spell list of spells that they can cast that you pick and add to, like a sorcerer does, versus having to pick and memorize spells the way a wizard does. Or we could go with Sword Saint, which is kind of interesting. They have a chosen weapon that they're proficient with, and it can be any weapon in the game that they're bonded with, and then they gain a lot of combat feats to go with it, like Perfect Strike and things like that. But the drawback is that the Sword Saint cannot wear armor, whereas the Magus and the other varieties of the Magus can eventually, they start where they can wear medium armor and still cast spells, and eventually they can get up to where they can wear heavy armor and be casting spells in heavy armor. So it's kind of a trade-off, because you're still going to do a lot of damage as a Magus, or one of the variants, but the Sword Saint is just trading a lot of extra damage, where they get like criticals and a lot of stuff like that for their armor proficiency. But they do get some sort of a defense bonus somewhere in here, I think. Let's see. Don't they? I thought that canny defense, yeah. While wearing light armor or no armor and wielding his chosen weapon and not using a shield, he adds 1 point of intelligence bonus, if any, as a dodge bonus to his armor class. So, yeah, you can get away with wearing light or heavy armor. I mean, light or no armor on your Sword Saint. So, it's kind of interesting. I'm not sure which I want to go with, the Eldritch Scion or the Sword Saint. Because with the Eldritch Scion, you also get to pick bloodlines and things like that, which are kind of interesting. So, let's see. Well, let's try the Scion maybe. And then, yeah, see, we're an Asimir, so there's bonuses here that we can pick. We can either be angel-blooded. Oh, let's go back. Which provides +2 to strength and charisma, which would go perfect for our character, because strength will add to our damage, and charisma will add to our casting ability. Being a sorcerer-based caster, everything that we're doing comes from charisma, so that's ideal for us. That's what we're going to pick. Now we go to Bloodline, and there's a bunch of different bloodlines you can pick, and you can kind of get like a little rundown of what they add, like bonus feats and stuff. And a lot of this is for flavor, but a lot of this adds interesting stuff to your character too. I think we might go with the blue dragon, the draconic bloodline blue, because that gives us a bonus to our electricity damage, which our shocking touch spell will do extra damage. Plus, a little later in the game, you can use this nice little transformation ability to transform yourself into a dragon and really dish out some extra damage in like clutch situations. So that'll be pretty handy. Plus you get a bunch of little extra feats and abilities for this, you know, and some of it's useful, some of it isn't. So a lot of it's for flavor, you know, but a lot of it's useful to varying degrees. And let's see, we'll take Magus as our favored class. That gives us +1 hit point and +1 skill point bonus. And then alternative racial traits. This is a mod that I have installed that adds things that you can pick from the tabletop version of Pathfinder to add to your character. And I think we're gonna go with +2 strength to add to our melee damage. And our to hit ability as well, really, because we're not going to be focusing much on dexterity on this character. We're going to bump dex a bit, but you know, we're not going to go heavy on it for this guy. We're going to go pretty much a strength build. And yeah, we'll put that as keep current. Okay, and that will go to next. Oh, wait a minute. Did I not? Oh, wait, we gotta pick our bonus. We either get a bonus skill rank or a bonus hit point, and I'll always take that bonus hit point. And here you get to set your ability scores, and you can see we've gotten +2 to strength, +2 to charisma. But we're really at +4 because we started at +12. Or we started at 12 for being an Asimir, then +2 for our extra racial ability. So bump that to at least 18. We'll bump that to 14 or so. A couple of points into con. We're not going to put anything into intelligence or wisdom, really. Maybe a few. We want to get our charisma as high as we can get it. Let's see. Put a point there. That gives us 20. 14 for dex, which is a +2 to our defense and stuff. Then we get no bonuses to hit points. And we don't need any bonuses from intelligence and wisdom, really. So we're not going to be a skill monkey class, you know. We're just going to be focusing on what we do best, which is like persuasion type things. And I guess we could take perception, even though that's not really a bonus for us, but I like as many characters to have perception as can make use of it. I guess we could take use magic device, or we could go with no, I guess we'll take use magic device, yeah. And now we pick our feats, and this can be kind of confusing if you're not really into D&D at all. You know, and me, I hadn't played in a long time. It's a little confusing out of the gate, you know, like and like I say, you can wear medium armor, but you don't really want to take the proficiency for it yet, because you're gonna get it at level 7 anyway, so that's a wasted feat. Let's see, what are we gonna take here? Improved initiative is always handy. Power attack's handy. Take that as our first feat, I suppose. Deity selection. Yeah, we're not going to worship a deity. That's more for clerics and the wisdom-based casters. Campaign trait. I guess we could take Sword Scion just for the heck of it. Then we get to pick another little trait here. You can either pick like racial or things like that. That'll just give you little bonuses. +1 to will, +2 to saving throws versus divination. As long as your current hit point total is less than half of your maximum hit points possible, you gain a +1 attack roll against evil foes. That's strange, I guess. That would be good for an Eldritch Archer or a Ranger or something like that. I don't know if I want race traits or not. Can we take another combat trait? Yeah. Armor expert. That's for like a monk. Yeah, we'll take that reactionary. That gives us a bonus to our initiative, which is going to be handy in helping us go, you know, quicker in combat than the bad guys, hopefully. And now we get to pick our spells, and you need to remember, you know, playing a magus that, you know, things like Magic Missile could be handy, but if you're going to want to go for things like Shocking Grasp right out of the gate. And I always take Corrosive Touch as well, playing an Eldritch Scion, because you're limited in your spell selection, and you're gonna want this anyway for enemies like trolls and things that can only be downed by acid damage. You know, to go along with your Shocking Grasp. And then, you know, later on as we level up some, you know, we can pick some of these other spells that may come in handy. You know? Okay, so let's hit next. Then you can just pick your voice.
I have no use for this.
That seems good enough. And of course we can pick an alignment. We could be evil, we could be chaotic neutral. I kind of like chaotic neutral a lot of the times. Chaotic neutral kind of, I feel like gives you the most free agency in the game, you know, because your character can pretty much do anything within reason. I mean, it's not... Chaotic neutral characters are tended to be describe, they tend to be played or described as crazy, but they don't really have to be, Um, or we could go evil. Not sure. You know what? I think we'll go chaotic neutral. It'll give us the most free agency. And then we have to pick a name. I'll just name him whatever here. We'll say Kelder. That'll be fine. And now we hit
Their life ends here!
And as you can see, this is our character stats here. We've got a +5 to melee attacks, which is, I believe it's a +5 to hit, or a +5. No, that's a. I guess that may be a +5 to hit. I'm not sure. We'll see once we get into the game. That might count as a +5 to hit and damage, which is going to come in handy. And we got a +2 to our initiative, which is, well, +4, I guess, really, which isn't great. It's not. It's better than nothing, though. It's better than not having any bonus. And then you can see here we got all our little feats and things here. And then these are all the skills that will kind of pop up through the game as you're playing. You'll have like skill challenges that'll pop up now and then. And yeah, I guess we're good to go. And right now we've got simple weapon proficiency and martial weapon proficiency, so we'll go with that. I'm planning on maybe picking up the Aldori dueling sword proficiency for this character eventually. Just because there's a couple of from what I've read anyway, there's supposed to be a couple of unique variations of that sword in this game. Magical versions, which could be kind of interesting to play around
Our
with.
story started at the mansion of an Aldori sword lord. Drawn by the promise of a most dangerous task and a commensurately huge reward, heroes of all stripes gathered here.
Okay. So we're at the mansion of an Aldori sword lord. She's gathered a bunch of different adventurers here,
Where are they?
apparently.
This is taking forever! They didn't even say what this was for, just that the Aldori were looking for heroes. Who are the Aldori anyway? Rich folk?
Yeah, they seem to be the nobles.
If you can't be patient, no one's keeping you here. Just go back to your mountains or whatever hole you crawled out of. The Aldori Sword Lords run the premier school for the dueling arts. They're also the richest and most influential group in this part of Brevoy. Take that tone with them, and they'll teach you some manners pretty quickly.
And Tartuccio there is a gnome, and I played through the tutorial once or twice, just checking out different classes to figure out what I wanted to do for this playthrough. And as you'll see as we get into this, he's kind of a dick. He's an asshole.
All right, you purple toad, just shut your trap. And if you can't, I'll help you.
She called him a purple toad.
Hush! Quiet! They're coming.
Okay, who's coming? Oh, this must be the person that's in charge, the noble that called everybody together.
Greetings, everyone. I am Sword Lord Jamandi Aldori, and this is Lord Mayor Yosef Selimius of Restall.
Okay, yeah, so this
Welcome
is,
to my mansion.
This is the noble that called us together, and the people that run this kingdom, the ruling body, are called the Sword Lords, and this whole campaign is pretty much ripped straight out of the Pathfinder adventure books. This is pretty much a copy of the tabletop adventure, the Pathfinder Kingmaker adventure. So, it's pretty neat. I haven't played through the tabletop version of it, but I've read up on it a little bit. Let's continue.
We thank you from the bottom of our hearts for responding to our call. You may be few, but that's unavoidable. We need only the best of the best for this task.
Okay.
And I see true heroes before me, strong and fearless, exactly what Restov needs.
Right.
Thank you, Lord Mayor. Now, to the point. South of here, just beyond Brevoy's border, lies a region known as the Stolen Lands. This is disputed territory,
Lands.
and while it's long been claimed by nearby states, it's never been truly taken. I won't bore you with the legal technicalities. Suffice to say that anyone with enough courage and power to seize the Stolen Lands and name themselves Baron or Baroness, claiming dominion, well, none of the neighboring states would be able to challenge it. Of course, Restov would be first to recognize the legitimacy of this new state, as well as the noble title of its founder.
Okay, so right, so that's why they've called all these adventurers here together. She's hoping that one group of these adventurers will be able to take care of some kind of problems that are going on in their kingdom, or the lands like south of their kingdom, kind of. And in doing so, what she's saying is that your character, if you were able to take care of the problems going on in the Stolen Lands, that you'd be granted the title of a baron, and you'd be ruler of that new land. That's kind of cool.
Unfortunately, one serious obstacle stands between you and this title. A gang of bandits holds sway in the Stolen Lands. Their
Right.
chief, who they call the Stag Lord, considers himself the rightful owner of these lands, and no one has yet been able to challenge his power. Bring me his head, and you'll be able to return to the Stolen Lands as their legal ruler. Any questions?
Seems simple enough. Kill the bandit, bring you his head, and we get to be leader of the new kingdom. That seems fairly simple to me. But we're going to ask a couple of questions anyway. But yeah, so that's what she wants us to do. They've got problems with a bandit gang, and they need us to take care of it. There's a whole team of us. Who exactly will receive the Baron's title?
I will, of course. I'm the leader of this team, after all. Don't worry, though. I'll make it worth your while to help me.
Fucking Tartuccio.
We haven't yet begun, and you already speak of divvying rewards.
Harem.
What makes you think we'll even succeed? There's little point arguing over who gains the title when we'll most likely lose our lives there.
Harem is a companion that you can gain to come with you through the game. In this first chapter, he's a cleric, I believe.
If I may please answer the question.
Okay.
We believe you're all equally deserving of a noble title. Over the course of your expedition, it will be up to you as a team to decide which of you is best suited to rule.
Right. That's stupid. We wouldn't say that. Why would we ask if you recognize the Stag Lord as a baron? He's a bandit. He's robbing and killing people and shit like that. That's a stupid question. This is something I think our character would ask, though. You're helping us found a barony? What do you have to gain from such generosity?
Don't ask stupid questions. Why should you even care? What they have to gain and why, that's for Lady Aldori and I to discuss. It's none of your concern. Your only concern is to swing your sword around, or whatever it is you do.
Asshole.
Of course, we stand to benefit from this enterprise. But if you're concerned that we intend to rule your country from afar, using you as a front. Well, please know that these concerns are unfounded. Let's just say that we have a strong interest in the region's stability.
Right,
we have need of a ruling power we can negotiate with, not bandit gangs and monster hordes.
That makes a lot of sense. That makes a lot of sense. They want somebody in charge that they can trust and possibly control. So that makes a lot of sense.
What is that smell in the air? Is it the smell of unspoken words and political intrigue?
That's a tiefling that's speaking up. She's a companion that you can gain as well, I believe. What rewards can we expect exactly for this? I know we're getting a kingdom, but is there anything else that we'll be earning?
And what reward would you seek beyond a noble title and your own lands?
That's a fair question, but, we'll be risking life and limb. I could consider asking for a lot more.
We'll absorb the costs of preparing and equipping your expeditions. Once you return victorious, Restov will also allocate you a significant sum to provide financial support for you to establish your country. Essentially, we'll help you build your capital. I hope such a reward is satisfactory.
That seems pretty satisfactory, I guess.
Words, words, words. Significant, financial. I can't fill my belly with pretty words.
That's a Miri. She's another companion that you can bring with you. She's a barbarian. So she's a pretty fun character.
Of course. There will also be an official banquet held in your honor. All of Rostov's high society will gather to celebrate your feat.
Okay. So we also get a banquet if we come back successful with a feast. That's I don't really care about the banquet, but okay.
Now you're talking.
So yeah, it's everything's clear as day. We're good, I think.
Excellent. You venture forth tomorrow. For now, you can take some time to get to know one another better. Or you can head straight to your guest rooms to get some rest. You'll find we've already prepared supplies for you there. And thank you again for agreeing to take part in this expedition.
Okay.
I wish you luck.
Alright, thank you. Lady Eldori?
Thank you again, with all my heart, for replying to this call. The flare in your eyes reveals your courage, the unshakable will that distinguishes true heroes. I look at you, O champions of Restov, and doubt not for a second that you'll be victorious. So venture forth toward your feet. Go, and return in triumph.
Okay, a nice stirring speech to set you off on your adventure. I like it.
Hi, my name's Lindsay. I'm a bard, though this is my first real adventure. So, shall we go teach this stag lord a lesson?
Lindsay's another companion that you can have come with you. She's a pretty fun character too. Pretty useful too as a bard. Bards are pretty useful characters in Pathfinder and in later editions of D&D actually. They've got to be pretty substantial characters. I'm Keldrin. Pleased to meet you.
Likewise. Actually, I also wanted to ask you something.
Okay.
How do you feel about this Tartuccio fellow? I think he's pretty obnoxious personally. He appointed himself head of the team, and he's just after the Baron's crown, or whatever it is Barons wear. Doesn't matter.
Yeah,
I don't like him. I think you should be team leader.
Seems like
when I first saw you, I couldn't help but think, now here's a real hero. Someone who'll be praised in poems and songs. This is the person I'll write my book about.
Hang on, there's a lot you just said that sounds kind of crazy. But first of all, you're writing a book?
Damn, I should have led with that. Please, just let me explain.
Okay.
You know what the trouble with most heroes' biographies is? They're always written years later, based on the tales of, best case, people who saw things from the outside.
That
Worst case,
seems true.
someone heard about it from their brother, who heard it from their friend, who heard it from their cousin, and so on, adding a new batch of lies each time. Every time I read about a heroic journey, I think to myself, why didn't they just bring a bard with them to write it all down properly?
There's a lot that doesn't make sense with that question, but I can understand where you're coming from.
And then I thought, I could be that bard. I just needed to find a suitable hero and volunteer to follow along on their glorious adventure. A great plan, huh? And here we are, with a heroic journey lying before us. Who's going to be the hero? Some dwarf who keeps muttering about how we'll all die? Or maybe that horrific scythe lady? Or, God's forbid, Tartuccio? No way.
Yeah, we wouldn't want Tartuccio to be a leader. Yeah, I guess we'll go with this. Not a bad plan. It's settled then. I'll accomplish the feats and you can write them down.
Deal. All right. I'm going to my room to write about tonight. See you in the morning.
Okay, I'll look for you on the next day here. Let's check our inventory here. Yeah, see, we're dual wielding shit, and we don't want to be dual wielding. Let's unequip that. Yeah, unequip it. There you go. And yeah, we just want a sword in our hand there. That's all we want. Long sword in our hand. And because we started as a sword scion, it gave us a dueling sword, even though we don't have the proficiency for it yet. We don't have the required feat to be able to use it. So we might sell it off. Okay. And we've got our armor and a couple of spell scrolls. Let's look at our spell book here. Yeah, see, we've got 2 spells that we can cast a day because of our 18 charisma. Let's see. And we can go into our abilities, and as you can see, power attack is already turned on. Spell combat is already turned on, so that we'll be queuing up a spell in our hand. And some of this we're going to take off of our hotbar. We'll leave that for the moment. Take the claws off. Adjust our quick bar a little bit. Yeah, we won't be using that. That will be using that. That will be using acid splash. So we'll leave touch of fatigue on. That's handy for undead stuff. And disrupt undead and touch of fatigue. And we're going to right click on touch of fatigue and make it so that that'll be auto casting every time we go into combat until we level up. Because for right now at level 1 we just have spell combat, which means we can have a spell in our offhand and we attack with our main hand and then we cast a spell in our offhand, but we can't channel it through our sword yet. So we don't need to be wasting our spells because we can't channel them yet, through our melee attacks.
In due time.
Which we can do once we hit level 2. So once we hit level 2, we'll turn this off and we'll select our spells as we want them. There's the tiefling again that spoke up at the start. Hi there. You don't have anything to say? Okay. Alright, let's head out of here. Nothing else we can do for right now. Alright.
Help! Help!
What's going on? Why are you bursting into my room?
The mansion's under attack. We need to help.
The mansion's under attack?
Some villains broke in and started killing everyone. I barely made it. Hurry, we have to help the guards fight off the attackers or we'll all be cut down one by one.
Okay, I'm coming. Uh-oh. Somebody just got murdered from the sounds of it. I don't think you want to be
ends here!
busting up into my room, guy, but okay. That's how you want to do this? And this is our first combat, and kind of see how combat works, you know. A lot of stuff happens. See, he got an initiative check of 8, so he's going to go before I do. I got an initiative of 12. You know, so he's going to run in to attack. And he'll get to go a little bit quicker than we do. And you can see, you know, who you're targeting by the lines. If there's more than one character, the lines will switch as you target each one. So we're going to target him.
This will hurt!
And we're going to run up and attack. And as you can see there, we had spell combat. We cast Touch of Fatigue on him first, and then we hit him with the sword, and we just found some light armor. Is that better than what I'm wearing? Let's see. It's a 4 armor class. Yeah. Yeah, we'll wear that, and we're gonna drop this because we gotta manage our carry weight. Alright. Run around. We're not gonna head over there to Lindsay just yet, because there's stuff we can be looting here.
I'm there!
Alright, let's carry on. Lindsay ran up here. Uh-oh, they got somebody. Who they got? Oh, they got Tartuccio. Not sure I really care whether they kill him or not, but
Aha! A test of my abilities!
might as well stop them if we can. Holy shit, we went kinda
You should have run!
slow, I think. But that's okay. Got him. Nice.
Strike! You're just in time.
Or actually,
A bit
higher
longer than
initiative
I'd
might
have
be
been.
better.
I don't even want to think about
I
it.
think.
Can you, Lady
lower
Jamandi's
initiative,
holding
so
the
we're
line
doing
in the
pretty
banquet
good.
hall. Speaking of dummy.
Rolls, actually. I don't know why I'm thinking lower initiative rolls are better. Alright, and now Tartuccio has joined our party, and he gave us a ring. How about that? That gives us +1 to our AC. We'll wear that. Check for loot here. I'll take it. We just want to investigate all these little rooms as we go through. I'll take all of that. And let's see, going this way. Can't go through that door, so we'll go around. I'll take that loot, thank you. Oh, some bad guys.
Serves you right.
Run in and get
Can you
them.
make an epic pose? I need inspiration.
Yeah, it's just telling us advanced combat because there's more than one. Ooh, Lindsay got shot. One of those bowmen messed her ass up with an attack. And we missed that guy that we were attacking with our spell, so we still got it saved in our hand. Hang on a second here. My damn phone alarm is going off. Let's shut that down. There we go. Apologize for that. And we got a couple of Cure Light Wounds potions, but we We're not gonna waste one of those on Lindsay.
I wrote it like I saw it.
She's got a couple of spells. We'll have her
Yes.
cast a Cure Light Wounds on herself.
Never wrong.
Okay, let's select everybody, and we're gonna keep going. We've already looted everybody, right? A couple potions on him. Alright, let's keep going. Ooh, blood coming out of that door. What's going on in here? A lot of murdered people, evidently. Some loot that we can take. And let's see, I don't think there's anything good in this room. I think it's just yeah, it's like a suit of armor and a mace, which neither one are any good to us, and they're too heavy to really bother. And
I do what I must.
Same with the kitchen. There's food and stuff that you can loot in here, and like a recipe for cooking, but I don't really bother a lot with the cooking in this game. It gives you benefits when you are resting, you know, when you're making camp, which you have to do, but the basic one that you can use is good enough for me.
It's the end for you, rats!
But, I mean, it could be handy if you enjoy the little minutia stuff, and that's a Miri
You deserved it.
fighting off these assassins with their big ass sword.
Leave it to me.
Ooh.
Oh, it's you. Stay up from under my feet or I'll strike you down.
Okay. That's okay. That's kind of harsh. I was just helping.
Blood for Gorum!
Okay. Wow. She's.
I think that's exactly how heroes should be.
I don't
What,
think
stupid,
either...
sweaty, and always looking for something to gobble up or lop the head off of? Calistria, save me from such heroes.
I don't think either of those reactions are exactly right, you know. Tartuccio's is closer, but he's a dick about it. To what, you know, I personally feel is right, you know. I don't think you should be just charging into battle without thinking about it. But, you know, shouldn't be cowardly either. If, you know, you're intending to try to be a hero or a good guy. What's going on here? Oh wow, a fucking boss giant. Holy shit. Glad we didn't have to try to fight that son of a bitch. Or that would have been the end of us, I believe. I'll take that, thank you. What do you guys have on you? Anything good? No, just a bunch of weapons that we don't need. Let's continue. And see here, it's telling you that, you know, your skill checks will pop up in the world through some things, and this is a dexterity skill check here.
Applause, please.
And since Lindsay had the highest dexterity, she got us through it.
Just die already!
And then our leader charged forwards. Hey, wait for me.
Oh wow, they annihilated that assassin. Nice. Got him. Oh, wait a minute, there's some loot over there. Oh, no there isn't. Okay, what's this?
Anything else?
So this is like an armory. This is like the castle armory. They won't mind if we borrow some of this stuff, you know? People are being murdered all over the place. We should take some of this stuff with us, you know?
I'm there.
What's here? A key. And tower shield. That's kind of heavy. I don't think we'll bother taking that. What is this?
What have we here? This chest is full of gold. I guess it's for the guards' salaries, all things considered. Well, those freeloaders don't seem to have been working too hard for it. Maybe we should pocket it instead.
I don't know about that, Tartutio. That they might frown on that.
What? No, we're heroes, not thieves.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not above being a thief. And nobody would know who took this, really, but I don't know.
Who said we were stealing it? We'll just take the gold for safety so the assassins don't get it. And then we can heroically return it to Jamandi when this is all over.
That's true. How much gold exactly?
A lot. Take a look.
Are you out of your minds? We're in the middle of a battle. Blood flowing in rivers as an army of assassins chases us. And you want us to rob our host? A noble feat, to be sure.
It doesn't hurt to look. 200 gold, huh? It's a decent sum for, you know, the start of an adventure. I guess we won't, we'll leave it, you know. There'll be other gold to be had, and we don't need to, risk pissing off, our host here.
Oh, familiar faces. I hope you're not so frightened as to swing at every shadow. It's me, Jathal. I don't recommend advancing down the hallway, assuming you value your life, of course. There were a few people with me, and you can see what happened to them.
Right.
And just how did they all end up dead while you don't seem to have a scratch?
I'll answer but briefly and just once. Further scares and explanations will wait until we aren't being hunted by a group of assassins. Deal? All right. I'm undead. These traps are deadly to the living, but they're harmless to me.
You're undead?
What do you mean, undead? Really? Like zombies or skeletons or...
As I said, further explanations will wait until later. All you need to know right now is that we're on the same side, and we have to fight off a small army of hired assassins. Let's get to it.
Okay, it seems like you could take a minute to explain that a little better, but that's okay. And Jathal here is a pretty fun companion as well. She's an inquisitor, which is
in due time
a religious caster, something like a cleric. But they're not really like clerics. They're a little bit more combat oriented than a cleric is. A little bit more action oriented, versus where clerics are just...
How curious.
Are a lot of the times, you know, more caster oriented. Inquisitors work off of a spell list like maguses do, where they don't have to memorize They don't have to memorize spells each day. They have spell lists that they learn like sorcerers do. I mean, so they're a pretty interesting class. Let's have Lindsay disarm that trap.
It's just not my lucky day.
Come on.
Applause, please.
Follow if
There
you
you go.
dare.
What a surprise.
Another trap.
Applause, please.
And there should
How
be one
curious.
Anything else?
more. Alright. Let's see. Chest over here. This is medium armor, which we can't wear yet, and a bowchard, which is like a something like a pole arm type of a weapon, which we can't use. Okay. So let's carry on. There's a guy with some scrolls here. I'll take them. And some bad guys. They're trying to get into these rooms here. They think there's some kind of a cache of hidden treasures.
Note in our story.
Don't hold back!
So let's take care of them. Yeah, see, our initiative was a little lower that time, so we're going later in combat. Missed. Got him.
I'm there.
Okay. I'll take that. And this is your first real puzzle of the game. You know, it's kind of introducing you to the fact that there'll be puzzles, you know, which you gotta adjust these statues to unlock a room here and a room over here as well. And I'll have to see if I can remember the order. If not, I may have to pause to look it up, which I'm thinking I might have to. Because I don't think I remember the proper order that you have to click these statues. So hang on just a second here. Let me just bring it up. So just give me just a second, guys. Yeah, give me just a second. I just need to look up the order that you click on these statues. Actually, you know what? I may not, I don't think I really have time to bother with looking that up or to deal with that statue quest, but, if, you know, anybody watching is curious, you know, you can Google it, you know, and, it'll tell you, you know, it'll give you the order that you click on those statues.
Can you make an epic pose? I need inspiration.
So let's carry on here.
This will hurt!
Ow! Got shot in the chest there.
Any last wishes?
Oh, could this happen?
Oh, we just got dropped.
Yeah.
Come on, Jathel. Yeah, you should judgment on this guy. Kill this fucking guy. There you go.
Everything is so much fun with a little fire.
That's the
What
tiefling
a
from
night,
earlier.
huh? I thought I was all alone. It's good you're here. A bit boring, chasing fool assassins without anyone watching the show.
Okay.
It's not fun at all. Many people have died for nothing.
I don't think we've met.
I am Kayesi, one of the many here who seek a better fate, answering the call of Lady Jamandi. But unlike the others, I never dropped my guard, day or night. It's why I'm still alive.
Okay, there's assassins on the prowl, though. We've got to go. We got to move.
I don't know where you're heading, but I'll be at the entrance to the main hall. I think I saw some guards there. Join me there, if you wish.
Okay.
I'm always ready.
Let's switch over to Lindsay and have her cast a heal on us. Heal us out. There we go. Now we're good to go. We can keep going. And that's Harem from the start of the game, if you guys remember him. We'll get to him in just a second.
I do what I must.
But,
Interesting.
something over here, and this is one thing it's telling you there's hidden items in the game, which characters with high perception are good for to have in your party because they'll notice stuff like this, and we can click that. So yeah, it's always handy to have a character with high perception like Jathel in your party, because then we'll got a little bit of loot, and we'll use that masterwork longsword over our longsword. Which is basically a masterwork weapon is a +1 weapon, but it doesn't count as a magical weapon. Just gives you a +1 bonus to hit and damage without being magical.
Grotus, I can sense your silhouette hovering over me.
Yeah, see, we can try.
It won't be much longer.
A skill check here.
Soon we shall meet, O Lord of Oblivion.
Aren't you being a bit premature? Look at yourself. You barely got a scratch on you.
That's impossible. Oh, it seems you might be right. It seems I will live. I suppose I must postpone meeting my god, not for long, I'm sure. But while we remain in this transient world, Arim is at your service.
Okay. Harem's a bit odd for a dwarf. You know, he's a cleric of Gorm, which we'll learn about as we learn more about Harem later. But we'll carry on. He's a fun character too. I kind of like Harem. And yeah, there's nothing over there. We just need to head on over this way. Hi there.
You, run and get an axe. You, bring more water. You, stay here and hold our defense. Those assassins are still around here somewhere. Aha! Some of our guests survived. Good. You need to get to the banquet hall and help Lady Jamandi.
Okay, but who are you?
Keston, House Gores, a fighter in the service of Sword Lord Jamandi Aldori. Right now, I'm in charge of the mansion guards. As you can see, there's a lot to do.
If I were a rich and influential lady like Jamandi, I'd also get myself a manly captain of the guard. Or two.
Okay, what's going on here?
Someone opened the gate, let in a group of assassins in the middle of the night. Now they've set the mansion on fire to cut off access to the hall. They don't want Lady Jamandi to get reinforcements. We cleared the passage so you can get through. Just try to avoid inhaling the smoke. We'll be right behind you. We just need to put out the fire first to save the mansion.
Okay.
Considering Lady Jamandi's fame, I'm not surprised that a whole pack of assassins were unleashed on her, including a giant. But what's at stake? What could anyone hope to gain?
I don't know. Alright, I'll go immediately.
Fire doesn't frighten me, thanks to hell's blood running in my veins. I'll go ahead and wait for you on the other side. Catch up!
May Abadar keep you safe.
So evidently the fire doesn't bother her since she's a tiefling. She must have some sort of fire resistance. Alright, let's head through. Yeah, drench ourselves with water. Covered our mouths and noses before we rushed inside. It was a good thing we hadn't wasted any time. After entering the building and taking just a few steps forward, the wall behind us slanted and crashed down with a terrible crackling sound, blocking the way back. While we may not have planned on going back, if we'd come in a little later, the flaming logs and red-hot bricks would have fallen right on our heads. Regardless, we were left with only one way to go. The hot air burned our lungs and our eyes watered from smoke, but Keldrin led us stubbornly through the flames, while Tartuccio did nothing useful at all. we'd made it to the hallway leading to the banquet hall when we heard someone calling for us. It was Baldur, one of the guards I chatted with a bit in the banquet hall. Even then, in that calm setting, I'd been stunned by her beauty, but now, amid the smoke and flames, she looked like a celestial avenger, an armored deity, menacing but beautiful and merciful, descending from the higher spheres to help us poor mortals. She held a burned, barely living guard in her arms. "There are 2 more," she shouted as she passed by us. "They are wounded. Help me pull them out." Tartuccio grumbled something about how Jamandi was waiting for us. Meanwhile, Keldrin, and then we get to pick, to try something here. We don't have a very good athletics skill. We got good diplomacy, so we can try to help and probably fail, or tell her that she should leave the guards behind to their fate. Let's try and help at least. Hey, we succeeded. Saving the poor fellows didn't take long. Together we lifted them up and carried them away from the fire. Only then did Valerie pause to catch her breath and wipe the sweat from her face. "Thank you, that was truly noble of you," she said. "And now let us rush to Lady Aldori's aid." Ensuring the guards we'd rescued were relatively safe, we made our way to the hall, where the battle was already in full swing. And a lot of things, you know, the story moments will take place like this, where you get to pick and choose based on your skills, like what you want to try to do and things like that, so pretty neat. And a lot of times, if your character doesn't have the proper skills, you know, another character in your party might. So it helps to build a well-rounded party, you know, for things like that, as well as adventuring. So, let's see, first things first,
Ask.
we're going to go into our spells, cast Divine Favor on yourself.
Patience.
Aram, what do you got? You got, Bless. I want you to cast Bless on
Adventures
everybody.
call to them.
And I want you to use Inspire Courage on everybody. There we go. And we're just buffing up because I know there's a big fight coming up, so I wanted to buff up a little bit before we go into this next area. So here we go. Yeah, I'll take those potions. I missed those and that. No, we're not going to take that gold. Alright, let's go. There's Lady Aldori and her guy, however you say that name, fighting off the giant. Now it's back to us to
Serves you right.
go take care of the rest of these assassins.
You deserved it.
Get in there. That son of a bitch hit me with, hit us with fear, hit our main character with fear. But that's okay.
Any last wishes?
Take care of the rest of these bastards.
Your life ebbs slow.
I step in. Serves you right.
Get him.
Let us strike as one!
Okay, good. You drop them. Nice. Let's check for loot real quick. So our main character got feared. Our main character didn't do much in that fight, but the rest of us did. Okay, some bracers. I think they're bracers of like AC or something like that. Yeah, braces of armor +1, yeah. So they're useful for a character that that doesn't wear armor. Let's move Valerie up to the front since she's a tank there. Alright, so that was the first big battle at the end of the tutorial here, and now we're gonna talk to Lady Aldori.
Thank you for your valor and bravery. The enemy was strong, but you were stronger, and that means I made the right choice. Just as I thought, there were worthy leaders among you. I'm especially grateful to them for the courage and common sense they showed while defending the mansion. But this attack means we have even less time than I thought. Someone already knows of our plans and is acting against us. You'll begin your expedition immediately.
Okay.
Lady Aldori, please, I know who arranged this attack. The vile king of Pitax, Iroveti. What's more, I know who among us works for him. Hey, you! Show everyone the ring you're wearing.
What?
You think I wouldn't recognize Iroveti's seal? That's why he wasn't killed. The bandits recognized him as one of their own by this signet ring.
So he's accusing us of being one of the assassins and trying to set us up by the ring that he gave us. Yeah, we'll take this one. I have no connections to Pitax, but Tartuccio's name, accent, and clothes seem like he came straight from there. Which of us looks more like they might be Iroveti's spy?
Probably, yes. But this evidence is circumstantial at best. There's definitely a spy among us. But who? All I have is one word against another. Right. I'm afraid you're both under suspicion.
Okay.
They both came to your aid, Lady Jamandi. But a liar's cunning knows no bounds. I've never met these two or their companions. For all I know, they're all conspiring spies.
Yeah,
How
whatever.
could you say that? We fought together. We literally went through fire together.
Exactly.
And then you vanished into thin air. After you promised you'd wait.
Exactly.
I bet my life
Oh, we
despises
missed that.
anyone but this man. I saw how he dealt with those creeps with my own eyes. A true warrior. I'd go with him through hell and high water. This purple crook, on the other hand, he's got the eyes of a spy and the mug of a spy.
Okay, so Amiri is taking up for us. She likes that we were brave and we fought our way through the assassins and stuff.
Lady Aldori, don't listen to this thick-headed barbarian. She doesn't know what she's talking about. During the attack, our leader showed his true colors. He forced us to break into the armory and rob it.
See, now he was the one that first noticed the armory and suggested we go inside, and he also wanted us to take that gold as well. Let's see, we were in the middle of battle, and we needed weapons. There was no time to run and ask for permission.
Considering the circumstances, that was more than reasonable.
Is it not insane to be faced with death and stop to question whether you may be breaking some law or rule? Our leader acted wisely.
Okay, good for you, Hero.
There is a difference between initiative taken in battle and blatant arrogation. How can someone who disregards authorities be a leader himself?
What about that trick he pulled right before we came in here? He knew very well you were fighting the enemy, but instead of rushing to help you, he dallied as long as he could, dropping everything to save people from the fire, even though the guards were handling things just fine. He was obviously hoping to show up too late and find you already dead.
People were dying right in front of me. How could I just walk by, Tartuccio?
Really, Tartuccio? You're seriously trying to blame someone for saving people from a fire?
Exactly.
May Shellen spare me from ever having to make such a choice, but he behaved decently as a true leader.
A true leader is someone who has their priorities straight, not someone who would put a valuable ally's life in danger for the sake of some servant.
Enough squabbling. I'm still not sure which of you I can trust.
Okay.
However, the risk of entrusting the whole affair to a spy is too great. Here's what we'll do. 2 teams will head out. That way, I'll know at least one group can be counted on to serve my interests in the stolen lands.
So she's dividing us up. One group to be led by Tartuccio and one to be led by myself.
Lady Aldori, most of those who were to set off for the stolen lands have been killed. Those who yet live will require help. Please allow me to join the expedition.
Okay, so who are you going to side with, Valerie?
I'm sad to lose such a talented warrior. But you're right, Valerie. They have greater need of you right now. Go, and may Abadar keep you. Which of the 2 teams would you prefer to accompany?
And I like our leader. What wisdom lies in minding orders, laws, and rules in the face of oblivion, knowing not whether he'll be alive tomorrow? I will go with his team.
Our leader is good in battle, but I don't like all the spiritual agonizing. I prefer those who can act without wasting time helping every little pipsqueak.
Tartuccio's going to take the credit for himself and be done with it. Shellen, spare me from such allies. I'm going with you.
As for me, I know neither of these 2. At least not well enough. And I have no wish to become an unwitting pawn to an unworthy leader. If Lady Jamandi allows,
we'll meet her later.
I'll remain in Restov and help mend the wounds this attack has inflicted. But who knows? The road may bring me to the stolen lands, but not yet.
I don't even need to think. I'm coming with this man. As for you, Purple Toad, just wait until we meet along the way. I'll be sure to hang your rotten spy guts from the trees.
I love you, Amiri. You're pretty cool.
All right, we have 2 teams. To avoid unnecessary conflict on the road, you'll each take a different route to the stolen lands. Tartuccio's team will go through Navakta's crossing. The garrison commandant will provide him all the help he needs. You will take your team to Oleg Leviton's trading post. He's been complaining about the Stag Lord's bandits for a while now. There, you'll be provided with all the necessary travel supplies.
Okay.
I'd like to believe you, but I know all too well how convincing traitors and spies can be. If you're truly innocent, I hope you can forgive me this precaution.
Well, I just hope it doesn't come back to bite you on the ass. But, okay.
While you're away, Keston will investigate the night's events and learn who in Restov is working for Patox. But you should know that it isn't just Patox we need to worry about. The royal house of Sertova may also interfere in our plans. I've managed to keep this affair a secret from them so far, but that can't last long. By my estimations, you have no more than 3 months. After that, any feats you accomplish will be pointless.
Okay. So, yeah, well, that's just letting you know that you got a time limit on what you're doing in this first chapter. You got 3 months to wrap everything up.
And now, farewell. This battle was but
So
the
you've got
first
enough time to
ordeal along your
explore,
path, and you overcame it as true champions of Restov. May the obstacles that follow also fall to your feet. Fear nothing, my friends,
You got enough
and
time
return victorious.
to explore, but you can't just dally and go here and there. And you got to be mindful of the time while you're on the map, on the world map, running around doing stuff. Okay. So Valerie, I guess, went with Tartuccio, which that just means that we'll end up getting a chance to get her
Surviving
or
a terrible
Jathal
night,
to come with
our
us.
small team set off to brave our fate. Beware, stolen lands. Heroes are on the way.
Okay. Yeah, a little later we'll get a chance to convince Valerie or Jathal to come with us. when we confront Tartuccio in a little bit, which is about as far as I played through this. And we'll be picking Valerie to come with us. I believe because we're going to need a tank, and she's a fairly decent tank. And you know, she's not great as a tank, but she's a fairly decent tank. And as you can see, this is a world map, and you know, you click on the arrow here, and it takes you along the road, and at each little junction, it'll give you options to turn and go to different locations, and you'll discover little hidden locations all over the map as you explore. And this is where we're going to wrap it up for this one, and we will start here next time in the next episode. So, I hope you guys have been enjoying this, and if you have, you know, leave me a comment, let me know that you're enjoying everything. And we will, you know, have some more of this. I hope you guys are enjoying it. You know, like I say, leave a comment, let me know. You know, hopefully you guys will enjoy it. And I will see you guys for the next one. Bye-bye.